Welcome to Let Me Be Frank, Mike. I'm Mike here with Frank. Well, Frank, I wanted a big bounce. Good afternoon. I wanted a big bounce back week last week, Frank, and well, it just didn't really happen. I went 0-1-1, had a push with the Titans. Man, they should have won that game. Mike Vrabel's really starting to upset me, Frank. He's just not running through the game plan. Listen, when you have one of the best running backs in the NFL, okay, and you're middle of the pack in rushing yards, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, you have got to give him the ball more. But we'll get to that later. And then the Bills, I mean, geez Louise. I mean, just it was a sloppy game. We hit our teaser of the week. That's good. Jacksonville for you, Frank, covered by a mile with the teaser, and the Bills covered by a couple of inches, which is why I lost my pick. And then for you on your picks, Frank, Cleveland, great choice. Never a sweat in the day. Never a sweat.
I did make that my only bet last week, unfortunately. There was a couple games I liked.
And
I
then
didn't do very well in the Hilton contest. I needed 5-0. Matter of fact, 14-1 took the 50,000. The 13-3 took 10,000, and 12. There's 3 12-2s for a grand when you got your money back in the contest. But anyways, it was not a good week for me on the contest. I kind of blew it with New Orleans +4, Washington, New Orleans -4. You know, real quickly, those divisional games at this part of the year, anything over a field goal, I think you got to take. But we'll do that next year.
That's all right, crazy, Frank, because I've been saying it for forever. And don't forget that you owe me a Big Mac bet of the day. Big Mac bet.
We get to Vegas there. We'll get you one of those giant Big Macs. Might even get you the 2-for-1 deal. How's that?
Let's go Lions, man. Let's go Lions. Playoff run, here we come.
Not only did they just miss a field goal, this is all under 2 minutes. I lost this game. How many games this year have I lost under 2 minutes? I think quite
Well,
a
how
few.
many games have the Lions lost this year under 2 minutes? It's refreshing.
It's refreshing. Been like this. Every team's been doing this.
It's been a while. Last week was a wild week. I mean, the Vikings game was insane.
Unbelievable.
The Bills game was wild. Right. I think there was 3 teams that were down 17 points and ended up coming back to win. Yeah. Which is just insane. That doesn't really happen in the NFL. It happens in college, but not really in the NFL. But let's just jump straight into our picks, Frank.
Yes.
Kick us off. Tell us what you like this week.
I'm going with Cleveland again.
The Cleveland boy going with Cleveland.
I'm glad. I think what it is we got New Orleans as a dome team. I think New Orleans only gets up against their own division, playing in very frigid cold weather. I got to take Cleveland at home here. What's our line in that Cleveland game? I don't even.
It's -2.5. Oh, our lines?
No, Cleveland. Well, I got -7.5. You got -4. The Lions actually. Well, the last I looked, it was Cleveland -3. I gotta love that. I gotta love that number.
It's down to -2.5 now, so there's a little bit of money coming on the Saints. But
I think what's happening, there's talk of Chubbs might be out, but I highly doubt that.
I know. Chubb's a little bit.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know that Chubb's a little bit banged up, but it's supposed to snow in Cleveland, and this is going to be a run-heavy game, which plays straight into the Cleveland Browns' hands. I mean, listen, Frank. I love to give you flack about all your picks. I just love it. It's my favorite pastime. But with this pick, I just can't really talk a lot of smack on it.
I probably might be my only bet again. I mean, their board's really tough again this week.
They're one of the top. They're top 5 rush yards per game, only behind Chicago, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Philadelphia. And the Saints have a solid defense, but in this outdoor stadium, they're a dome team. It's going to be snowy and cold. Yes. And their run game isn't that great. I mean, they have Taysom Hill, who's a dual threat back there and can provide a lot of options, but I don't know. I mean, unless they start him, I really don't see much going on for them. So I like the pick. I like the pick quite a bit, actually. It's not a pick for me, but I can back you on it 100%.
I got just one stat. This is definitely coming back from Mark Lawrence's newsletter again. We talked about Mark Lawrence. We'll talk about them later again. But Cleveland is 8-1 versus the NFC North foes. And 4-0 against the spread on Saturdays, which I never knew that. So anyways, I'm going with Cleveland. That's the best I got. So I mean, that's my best bet right now. So that's what we're going with. My other pick. All right. I'm not okay. I'm not confident of this pick. I mean,
Frank, you can't lead into your pick and say, "Hey, I'm not confident," but I'm going to give it out anyway.
I'm gonna give it. I mean, come on, people. If you want to fly with me, fly with my Eagles. Let's do it. They are. They're getting 6 points. I know Hurst is not playing. I don't know if he's going to come back. I mean, that was a pretty tough
listen,
there.
if
he fell on his shoulder, didn't he?
Yes, he did. They're saying shoulder sprain. Nick Sirianni hasn't ruled him out yet, but
yeah, well,
he's
going to be cautious. He ain't coming back. If he's already clinched it, why would you put Hurst in there and get him hurt more? No.
Well, they want us to lock up that first round buy, and they're going to be hungry for this game. Listen, if Hurts does come back and you get plus 4.5, I mean, that's a steal.
4.5. I thought I was getting 6.
No, it's 4.5.
Well, it went to 6. Now it's back down to 4.5. So they're coming back with Philly.
Maybe. I mean, 6 is a lot of points. I know it opened up at 1 or 2, I think.
I saw. I mean, it went right to 6. I got it right. I got it on the board. Open lines. Minus 1.5, and then right to 6, and that was by Tuesday. So
I never saw 6, but
yeah, I saw it on FanDuel. So it's coming back down. All right, so I'll take the 4.5. I mean, I'd rather have 6. But that's fine.
This Frank, I know you're not confident about it, but I have.
Let me give you some numbers on this game.
Okay, you give me some numbers, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
And well, I hope these numbers will turn you sideways. All right. So, first of all, that has been picked off 17 times in the last 7 games. I'm going to start off with that. If I'm the coach for Philadelphia and I'm looking at a lot of tape, and this guy's been picked off 17 times, that means he's not changing his evil ways and he's just throwing to the same spot. Don't you think that the coach for Philly would say, okay, I want my cornerbacks and my safeties in a zone. I want these players playing that little circle where he's throwing that ball. I want you to be ready for when he throws that ball to that area. I mean, if everybody else is picking them off, why can't Philly pick them up? Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, Dallas is just 2-10 against the spread and 4-8 against the spread at home in this series when Philly sports the better record. Okay, and then we're going to go with one more. Dallas is 8-25 and 1 against the spread mark at home as a home favorite when coming off of a loss. Now, these are some like crazy high percentage numbers here. And this is the reason why I probably wasn't going to look at this game until I started seeing these kind of numbers. And again, this information is coming out of Mark Lawrence's newsletter. I mean, again, this guy's information is just unbelievable. But anyways, so this has now got me going with Philadelphia, and I'm getting Philly points. I've got the best team in football, again, without a quarterback who's probably scored many touchdowns this year just on running himself. A quarterback is huge, but I'm getting points in Philly. So I'm going to run with Philly. So now you.
Well, let me tell you.
Go ahead, nail me, brother.
Let me just destroy those numbers for you real quick here, Frank.
I almost made you eat cake last week, but that's all right.
You almost made me eat cake. I won. I was chilling. I was looking good.
Go ahead.
You owe me a Big Mac. Anyway, let me
get going here.
Yeah, let me tell you about Philly. So listen, the backup quarterback for the Eagles, the guy that's probably going to play unless Hurts miraculously plays, which I highly doubt. They're probably saving for the playoffs, is going to be Gardner Minshew. Minshew magic, mustache boy himself.
I like this guy. I liked him when he played. Did he play for Jacksonville or somebody years ago?
He did. But listen, the last game he played, the last game he started was actually against this Dallas team at home last year, January 8th. And let me tell you something, Frank. Well, I guess that technically makes it this year, but it was last year's football season. Listen to this stat line. 19 completions, 33 attempts, 186 yards, 57% completion percentage, 5.6 average pass, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 3 times, 5 rushes for 10 yards. Listen, this Dallas team, this Dallas defense got better. It's better than last year. And you're telling me that this Dallas team beat them 51-26 in Philadelphia with this same quarterback. And yes, the Philadelphia Eagles now have AJ Brown. Yes, Gardner Minshew has another year under his belt. Yes, yes, yes. But listen, I am not a big fan of this here uh pick for you, Frank. I think that Minshew, I hope he does well. I wish him the best. I like the Eagles. We've said it since the beginning of the year. Fly Eagles fly. Love Hurts. He's on my fantasy team. I'm in the first place matchup. Shout out to my boy Byron. I hope
Oh,
you're watching this. I'm
oh,
gonna beat you
nice.
this week. Um, but no, but I just don't really like. I don't like the Eagles this week. I just think that they might get blown out. I think they might be kind of, not resting per se. I know they want this game, but without Hurts, they basically have the first round bye locked up. They have the division locked up probably, unless there's an epic collapse. I mean, they're probably just going to cruise to the finish line. I mean, I just don't think it's a great matchup for them. I think that Minshew may get turned into mincemeat. So we'll see how it goes. But I wish you the best, Frank. Obviously, I want you to win because it makes us look better on the podcast. But let me
Hey, I'm
but let
still at
me
15-4 now, I think, in the last 5 or 6 weeks. I'm still hot. I want to stay hot. I got 3 more weeks left. I got one more 3 weeks shot at the contest. I gotta really put this together this week, and it's really tough when I only got 2 picks and I need 5.
yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
so
Well, let me kick
go
off
ahead.
my picks. So I got 3 picks this week. Uh, I need to get back after it. Not having a winner last week, having a push and a loss, it's tough. But I'm gonna kick us off with my Lions, baby. Your favorite team to bet against for some odd reason. But I'm going to take the Lions at the Panthers. Listen, this Lions team, if you look at their stats, they
How is
tend
this
to be a
team
lot.
doing it with the defense? Worst defense in football next to
Well, their
Minnesota. I
defense
don't
has actually
understand
been
that.
better the last couple of games. In the
Okay.
last 3, they've only allowed 320 yards when their season average is closer to 400. So their defense is coming around, and that's why they're winning these games. The offense has always been explosive. I mean, we saw it against that Seattle team. What was it, 45-42, and it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think there was one punt in the game. But listen, Detroit does better, specifically Jared Goff does better in this warmer weather. Now they're going to be playing at Carolina. It's not a dome, but it is going to be warmer
Ooh,
weather.
tough
And this
game.
Carolina team is not good, Frank. They're just not. I mean,
They're good. They're playing tough defense. They've improved in the last 3 or 4 games.
well, listen,
Not
they
that I want
have
to go
played.
against you, but I mean, I have Carolina -2.5, and they opened up at getting 3, and now they're down to +2.5. I'm just doing the numbers right now, and Carolina has
Yeah,
improved.
and your Browns game went from 3 to 2.5.
Oh God, how about the week before? Cincinnati going from 6.5 down to 4. Well,
I
I
know.
agree. The numbers are they're. I'm
It's
not
not
sure where these
everything.
numbers are happening right now. And I agree, it's not everything. It's definitely football is definitely about matchups, but I do like following the numbers a little bit. All right, go ahead.
But I'm
So
just saying,
you're going
but
with
I'm just
Detroit.
saying, well, I'm
I'm
just
not
saying
going
this
to
Detroit
argue with you on this.
this Detroit offense, they're running the ball well, they're passing the ball well, and you're right, Carol, you're 100% right. Carolina does have a good defense. I mean, they do. They have a solid defense. It's not great. It's nothing to write home about. It's about middle of the pack, maybe a slightly above average. But this Detroit defense is high power, or Detroit offense, excuse me, is high powered. They're going to come through. They're going to destroy this Carolina team in the warm weather where they tend to do better. It's no dome, but they're going to do pretty well in this game, and they're hungry. They have to win out to make the playoff. They don't have to win out, but winning out basically gets them into the playoffs. And I think Jared Goff wants to prove this Rams team wrong. After trading for Matthew Stafford, I think he's hungry. So I'm going to go Lions -2.5 under a field goal. Easy day all day. Take another one to the bank. Then my next pick, I'm going to take Tennessee -4 against the Texans at home. Listen, last time Derrick Henry, and I hope Mike Vrabel, I know you're probably not listening to this, but I hope you do. Please give the ball to Derrick Henry. Oh my gosh. Listen,
Something's wrong in that Tennessee.
I,
Something's rotten in that
it's
town over there.
ridiculous. Listen to these numbers, Frank. So you play the Chargers, who have one of the worst run offenses or run defense in the whole league, right? He goes 21 attempts, 104 yards, 5-yard average, which is very good for a running back. 1 touchdown. Okay, I was watching the game. He also had 4 catches for 59 yards. This guy needs to be your whole offense because, Frank, I don't know if you personally can name one wide receiver on the Titans, can you?
No,
Nah, I mean, I can. They got
no,
Robert Woods.
I know one guy, Derek.
They got
I'm not a
Traylon.
Tennessee fan. I don't follow them that much. It's not one of my favorite teams to bet on or against.
You don't even have to be a Tennessee fan. I mean, probably half the Tennessee fans don't even know wide receivers on their own team because they're not that great.
Right.
Treylon Burks is not playing. Robert Woods seems to be out of the game plan. Listen, Derrick Henry is this offense, and he has the right to be. He's one of the better players, if not one of the best players in the whole NFL. And when you run the ball through him, he is going to make things happen. So last week, it seemed like they just threw the ball too much. I watched the game. Obviously, I had money on the game, and they just threw the ball way too much. Last time he played this Houston team, Frank, 32 rushes, 219 yards, 6.8 yards per rush, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy just tore this team up, and now they're at home,
And they
four and
need
a
this
half,
game. Aren't they
and
in
they
first
have to
place?
have this game.
They
They
got
have to have this game.
I'm not sure what the standings are right now, but it's not. They got people following
No, they're in
up their
first place
butt.
right now. They're in first place right now, but if the Jacksonville Jaguars
Yeah,
keep winning and they lose these games, they're not gonna make it. They're literally
no,
just not gonna make the playoffs.
I
They've lost
agree.
what, the last 4?
4
I mean,
games. Ooh.
we were talking as this team was really good, being 7-3, and now they just gotten away from their game plan. Look at these last 4 games, and I'll tell you why they're losing. Okay, 17 rushes, 21 rushes last week for Derrick Henry. 17 rushes the week before that, 11, 17. You want to know the other games? 28, 20, 19, 32, 30, 28, 22, 20, and they're winning games. You guys need to make Derrick Henry a bigger part of this equation, and you're going to win games. It's proven. The guy is an absolute beast. So
That's for sure.
hopefully they give him the ball more, and hopefully we take that one to the bank as well. Now, my last pick, Frank, and I think you'll like this one. It's a little bit Mark Lawrence-y. I'm going to go Pittsburgh. -2.5 at home. Listen to this crazy trend, Frank. Derek Carr is 1-7 in games that are less than 40 degrees at kickoff. And he's 0-4 in games that are 32 degrees or less at kickoff. It is going to be cold in Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Frank. Very cold. And he's not used to this. Okay. He is not used to this kind of weather. Grew up, in the Cali area, went to Fresno State. Now with the Raiders his whole career, he likes that warm weather. He likes the domes. And this is going to be frigid. And this Pittsburgh defense is absolutely stout against the run. So
and
Jacobs
at
and at home.
And Pickett's
I mean,
coming back.
they just shut down the Panthers rushing offense, which has been proven to be quite good over the last couple weeks. They're averaging 143 yards per game the last 3 weeks. And so that's just absolutely ridiculous that they shut him down. I think they held him to below 100 yards. I'm not 100% sure. You guys can fact check me on that. But listen, and speaking of rushing offense, this Pittsburgh rushing offense has come to life. They're averaging 156 yards per game, and we just saw the Patriots tear them up. In the last 3 games, they're averaging 156 yards. Excuse me, and we just saw the Patriots tear up this Raiders defense. We saw the Seahawks tear up the Raiders defense, and Pickett's coming back. Listen, if they can win a game with terrible Trubisky, Pickett's going to come in there, shock some life into the team, and I think they could run away with this game very easily on Sunday night.
I actually like this game on a teaser. I had it -2.5. You had it -2.5. It's opened up at 2.5. Do you know what the line is now? I had 3 when last time I looked.
I just looked at it, Frank, and it's at 2.5.
It's back down 2.5. Okay. I'm probably going to tease this game with something I don't know yet. I'm probably going to put Pittsburgh. I'm going to put Pittsburgh in my contest. Again, I got pick 5. I don't know how many games that I can possibly find in the stinking board. All right, so we're just those are your 3 picks.
That was my 3 picks. I tried to make it
all right.
quick, sweet, to the point, give you the info.
Okay. So we can maybe cut this short. I just want to go over maybe just a couple other games real quick, because some of our folks out there like to know what we think about some of these games that we don't have time to go over all the time anymore. Colts San Diego, real quick.
Gosh, Frank.
I got Colts getting 8.5. You got 6. I think it opened up at 3, and now they're getting 4. I'm getting tired of getting burned by the Colts, and then I watched the Colts like what they did against last week against Minnesota. The most comeback ever in football.
Biggest comeback, yeah, in NFL football history.
Yeah, I mean, and San Diego's in the hunt. I still like my defense in San Diego. No, not too many people do, but and Ryan's he needs to retire. It's time, my friend.
Well, he's getting benched this week. You know who's going to be playing quarterback for the Colts?
I did not.
Nick Foles.
Really? I did not know he was getting, okay. I still
He's
like it
back
at
to the
4
bench.
points. So I mean, that might be my teaser right there. Pittsburgh and San Diego. Who knows? So
I mean,
okay,
listen,
quick. Okay, you got something else more
yeah,
to
just
say? Yeah, go ahead.
quick on the Chargers Colts. Uh, this Colts team, you just can't bet on them. They're too unpredictable. I mean, we saw it last week. They go up 33-0, and then somehow they lose the game 36-39.
Right.
What I don't even know how that's possible, but okay. Um, listen, I would stay away from basically every Colts game. This line screams fishy to me. I got burned 2 weeks ago when it was fishy, 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 and I went with my gut. If I had to pick a side, I'd choose the Chargers, but I just would stay away if I was you.
All right, one more here. Big game of the week here. I think it's a big game. New England playing Cincinnati, at New England. I like Cincinnati. I actually was one of my bets in the beginning, before we did this podcast, but a lot of numbers are not going this way. But anyways, Cincinnati to me, they're on, they're I think they're, I don't know if they're tied or very close with the Baltimore Ravens. So this division is still up for grabs with these two teams. I think Cincinnati Super Bowl bound, or I mean they're. I'm not saying they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but I'm just saying they're one of the top teams. New England, I think, was playing very good for a while, and I think in the last 3 or 4 weeks they're going to go south. And they got to play the Jets, or I think they got two conference games coming up in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I gotta like Cincinnati. I think the line's a little bit high. So what's the line?
I mean, you and I,
What's the line now in the Cincinnati?
I'd said 3.5, 3.5 on FanDuel. I have it pulled up right here.
See, I
Yep.
like it. I like it. I still like Cincinnati. I have to. I probably won't bet it, but if I was favoring a team, I would be favoring Cincinnati. I
Let
think
me tell you something, Frank.
they
You
got they got matchups that I think they're just a lot better than New England.
okay? I could not disagree with you more on this game. I told you about it when we kind of had our discussion last night, because we kind of run through the games that we like, the day before.
Right.
I was stuck between this Patriots team and the Steelers. Ended up taking the Steelers for the week, but this Patriots team barely missed my card. Listen, after the debacle that was last week for this Patriots team,
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is going to
It's
have this
rugby.
team right. They need this game to make it to the wild card. Right now, they're looking on the outside looking in. They need this game. It's a big game. They're at home. Bill Belichick's going to want it. The reason it didn't make my card is because I just don't really want to get in front of the Cincinnati train because, man, I mean, I kind of like
Tough.
Tampa Bay last week, and lo and behold, I'm looking good for one half, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Cincinnati defense, which I didn't think was really that great in the first place, just comes out of nowhere. But I like this Patriots defense. I mean, they shut down the Raiders offense. I think they could also shut down this Bengals offense. Bill
They
Belichick's a
could.
great coach. He's going to have this team right.
It's gonna be.
I
I think it's
think
gonna
that
come to the end. It's gonna be a close game. I
I think
think
the Bengals are susceptible on the ground. Uh, I think the Patriots could win this game. They need this game.
they
They
do.
need this game. And so there's going to be a lot of motivation. It's going to be at home. Crowd's going to be rowdy. Bill Belichick's going to have this team right. I would definitely be on the Patriots side. I would not be on the Bengals side. But it just barely missed
Yeah,
my
and
card. So
again, we're talking about that 3.5, 4 points thing again, and I don't want to get burned by a field goal. Okay, I also want to say one more thing. Franco Harris passed away yesterday, and that was in 1972. And first thing I did was call a friend because that was the beginning of my gambling career back in Cleveland before I moved to Vegas. And we used to do a lot of gambling, and I called him, and he's a guy I worked with, and when I got a hold of him, he's up in his 70s. I love this guy, Don Rudy, and his family. And when I called him this morning and told him what happened, first thing out of his mouth was, "That son of a bitch cost me a lot of money because I bet the Raiders on that game with the immaculate reception." And another thing I heard today on ESPN, and I have to laugh. I laughed so hard when the guy said it. 15 players from the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers in that era made the Hall of Fame. And if any of those players were playing in today's game, they'd be arrested for violence in football. All right. I just wanted to say, Franco Harris, you were great in your day. I grew up with you, and you're going to be sorely missed. All right.
Let's run through.
I want to thank John, our video guy, video director and producer. He has done a wonderful job for us. And I think that's about all I have to say. When do you want to wrap this up?
I'm gonna wrap it up with our teaser, our Dakota dog, and then we'll call her a show, huh?
Sounds like a plan.
So our Dakota dog of the week, I'm going with the Patriots. Okay, they didn't make my card. I didn't want to be chalky. All the other teams I took were my favorites, and I still like this Patriots team. I really do think they could win outright. So I'm taking Patriots. Frank's taking his fly Eagles fly, baby. He's taking those Eagles money line.
Points.
He's taking the Eagles money line. He thinks Minshew's going to be magic and not mince meat. And it's going to be plus 562 to pair those two teams together. Then for our teaser of the week, I'm going San Francisco. Listen, they're at home. Washington does need this game. San Francisco's still hungry. Brock Purdy's hyped up. He's playing great. If I'm going to get just San Francisco to be able to win this one at home, I'll take it all day. So teasing that down to 1.5. And then Frank's taking Pittsburgh. We all know how I hate teasing through 0, but Frank refuses to listen to me, and somehow he always hits it when he teases through 0. So he's teasing it from -2.5 to 3.5. So plus 3.5. So that's our teaser of the week. Any last words you want to say, Frank?
Yeah. We're getting a lot more views. I'm glad. But I wish even some of our subscribers do some comments. Tell us whether you like our picks or you don't like our picks this week. Give us some input on our picks and how you think we're doing. And I would like to see and hear some more comments. I really
Yeah,
would.
Give Frank some flack. Give me some more flack because I haven't been doing that great.
Or give us some love. Either one. I don't really care. And of course, you new viewers, hit that subscribe button.
And hit that like button, and it'd really be a help to us. But
right.
I think that's it for us, Frank. And let's cash some tickets. And Byron, I know you're watching this. You're going down this week. I'll see you guys later. Have a great one.
All right.
Bye, Frank.